Oh, I love doing the Coach and Company podcast. We are here on most weekdays. Easiest thing to do, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch the video, or of course, you can listen to the audio, courtesy our partnership with the good people over at Believe. Now, we support the morning show. If you missed any of Coach and Company today on Stadium and Valley Sports Live or YouTube or socials, I encourage you to watch it on demand. A ton of best bets coming off a 6-2 day on the morning show on Monday. You definitely don't want to miss that. Now, we do have a play that kicks off in an hour and 15 minutes from right now. Champions League soccer from our man Big Chuck. Atalanta Club Rouge, the over 3. So we encourage you to play that as well. Now, today is a very, very busy day here at the brand. 4 playoff games. Baseball, best 2 out of 3. 3 straight days, same stadium. Absolutely love it. So, in order to get us ready and look ahead a little bit to week 5 in the National Football League, I bring in my 2 guys, Raphael and Mikey P from Sure Dog USA. Raphael, today for you is kind of like Christmas morning. You get into the lounge last night. Me and Mikey will bring our tone down. But then also you get up this morning, your head's pounding. You're like, what's going to get me out of bed today? And then you remember your Cubs will play in game number 2, 3:08 p.m. Eastern time today at home against the Padres. How exciting for you is it to be back into the playoffs in baseball?
It's good. I mean, I'm hoping we have a better outcome than the last time we played the Padres when the Padres beat us at 3-2 in there. But it should be very interesting because I want to see what Cubs team we have because they ended their season not the way they began their season. I mean, they were top in runs, stolen bases, and then after the All-Star break, their momentum just slid off the face of the earth. So I want to see how they perform in the playoffs because right now their starting pitching is pretty banged up.
Yeah, they had a lot of high-scoring games through the last couple of weeks of the season. They were certainly an over team to bet. Mikey, you're a gigantic Boston Red Sox fan, and anytime that we can get at any stage in the playoffs a Red Sox-Yankees matchup, we're going to take it. Now, the Red Sox are facing 3 games at Yankee Stadium, but if you're a competitive Red Sox fan, there might be no better way to knock the Yankees out than doing it in their house, guaranteed.
No single better way. And I got to watch my tone and my words because I know Tommy C's probably watching somewhere and I don't want no smoke with the Godfather. But, Coach, I'm not even just going to focus on the wild card. Look ahead to the division series. The winner of the Yankees Red Sox will play the Blue Jays. And on the NL side, the winner of Reds Dodgers, more than likely the Dodgers, will play the Phillies. And then the Cubs Padres could line up. The Cubs could line up if they beat the Padres to play the Brewers. So we got so many potential high-level division series matchups. I think this is what baseball is going to need. I think the viewership has gone up this year. I think the playoff ratings will go a lot higher this year if we get some of these matchups.
I went to a few games this year, and I got to tell you that a lot of the changes they have made to the game, I absolutely love. A long game is 3 hours now. That's a long game. Most of them are 230, 240, 90 seconds in between. It's such a better experience, Raphael. And if you're looking at it from a betting perspective, there are so many different ways to bet a playoff team. We get a lot of our lines from BetMGM, but I felt like the totals, because an average total in the regular season is around 8.5, maybe 9. A high is 10, 10.5. We've got 7, 7, 6, 6. Why are they so much lower today than what they would normally be?
Because now teams are only using 3 starting pitchers for the playoffs. Normally you have a 5 rotation. Now you only have 3. So now your 4 and 5 are in the bullpen. So you can shorten up your pitching, maybe have the starter only go 5 and bring in a big reliever or another starter before you go to your closer. I think that's why we have low totals in this game. And I can guarantee you the networks do not want the Reds and the Red Sox to win. Because can you imagine the NL and ALDS with no Judge and no Ohtani?
Wow, that's such a fascinating point, that the game within the game in the ivory towers in New York City. Mikey, Raphael is 1,000% right. Behind those big oak doors, they're saying, please, please Yankees, please Dodgers. We got it a year ago. I think they would like nothing more than to see that again. But what are the odds of the Yankees, who really had a big swoon through the middle part of the season, but they're red hot right now to end the season? Which Yankees team is for real?
I don't know if the Yankees team is for real, and I say that not as a Red Sox fan. I will credit our man Zeno, who continues to say Aaron Judge may be the greatest Yankee to never win a World Series. If that narrative is out there before the playoffs even begin again, I'll play devil's advocate here. I'll see your Ohtani and I'll see your Aaron Judge, and I'll say, what about new stars? Let's say the Reds do bounce the Dodgers. You got Ellie De La Cruz. By the way, you got Big Dumper in Seattle waiting for his next opponent. There's plenty of stars in baseball. The problem is nobody tunes in April and May when these guys start to really find themselves. So I think we're going to see new stars, even if the greatest stars are not in the playoffs in the next round.
New stars, in my way, don't bring in betting numbers. So yeah, we can have the big dumper in Seattle, but if the Yankees are not in it and the Dodgers are not in it, no one's going to watch it. No one's going to bet it, because you know what else is going to be on TV? NHL football. And so they're just going to push the playoffs aside. Now, if the Yankees play the Dodgers, it's 16-1 for the head-to-head matchup for the World Series.
16-1 to have that specific matchup?
Yes.
Wow. That'd almost be worth a little sprinkle.
When I saw it, I'm like, wow, I didn't thought to say coach it like this right now.
Yeah. Synergy, baby. Synergy. Real quick, my man Brandon from the morning show sent over a couple of plays. I forgot to give them out on premium, so we'll give them out free right here. Kyle Tucker over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus 210. Kyle Tucker no longer an Astro. He now, where does he play again?
The Cubs.
Cubs, thank you. So, Raphael, do you like that play?
I'm hoping I see the Tucker of first half play this game, because if I see the Tucker of the second half, then no, I don't like this game play.
All right, what about you, Mikey? You like Kyle Tucker at Wrigley today?
Yeah, I mean, he's been banged up, but if he can return to healthy form, Kyle Tucker's one of the best hitters in baseball, not so much a slugger. So, yeah, I like it.
Slight left turn. His second play he just sent in to me. The Giants plus 1.5 against the Saints minus 110. Raphael, the Giants are coming off a really good win over a really good team, the Chargers.
Pump the brakes a little bit, just because the Saints played really well against Buffalo. They didn't win the game, but they showed respect, and I think Rattler's finally getting used to being that starting quarterback. The Giants do win this game, but I think the betting public is going to be all over Love on Dart, and they're going to push this number too high. I'm looking to play the Saints in this game.
Okay. Well, it's in the Superdome at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The last time I was in the Superdome, years and years and years ago, Kansas was playing. Back then, they had a first and second round game at the Superdome. Now it would just be a regional or a national championship. So weeks in, I'm 21, 22 years old, and we were in Wichita, Kansas, and they sent us, and we had such a low budget that we had to drive from Wichita to Oklahoma City, fly from Oklahoma City to Dallas, Dallas to New Orleans, share a room. And I got so drunk, Raphael, probably right around from your house on at Pat O'Brien's with the what do they call them?
5-minute walk from my house.
Okay. So they didn't tell me how much alcohol was in a hurricane. And this is like my first trip ever to the Big Easy. And I spent it at the Tulane Hospital. And the only reason I didn't get fired is because my photographer was our number 3 talent at our TV station. So he did my live shots on Saturday. And who did I stand right next to, Raphael, as Kentucky won the second game after the Kansas Jayhawks won the first game? Do you know who stood 5 inches away from me, 5 inches from greatness? Who would that be if Kentucky was playing? Who would that have been?
No.
Why would I be excited over Calipari? Ashley Judd.
Oh,
Ashley
Judd.
That's
before makeup, though. That's before her Botox. So you got to see good-looking Ashley Judd.
Yeah, I didn't throw that out to her, though. I didn't say, this is before your Botox. I didn't say that. Maybe next time I will.
You weren't there for the Yes movement at the Superdome?
No, I was not there for the yes
That's
movement.
probably one of the
But
most exciting moments I've ever seen being in it. And I've been in a Superdome for a lot.
it was one of the great moments in wrestling history. I will tell you this, the Superdome was so big. When I walked through it, our newsroom was on one side and all the live shots, you see the live trucks outside the stadium. There was all the way on the other side. It took over 10 minutes to walk it. And as I walked through the first time, one single solitary person was sitting at his spot with nobody else in the arena. Billy Packer.
Wow.
Sitting there working.
Greatness.
God rest his soul. He was a legend.
Yep.
He was a legend. Kind of conservative, kind of boring, but he was a legend at CBS. And he was just sitting there doing his work. Nobody else. Imagine 80,000 seats and Billy Packer. Oh, it was amazing. Oh, memory. One of these days, we're just going to do a pod where we just tell stories, which we did yesterday on the Coach and Bro Show. Catch it on demand at our BTT YouTube page. Yeah, it was a lot of stories. It was a lot of stories yesterday. Guys, today we started to look forward to week number 5. And Raphael, you gave us odds that you can bet on who will be the last undefeated team standing. The Bills are 4-0. The Eagles are 4-0, but they've gotten there in 2 completely different ways. And I feel like when you talk about the Bills, who this week, again, have a chance. Who are they playing right now? I'm losing the game. Thank you, Pats. So it's a divisional game against a team that just scored 42 points. But I feel like Josh Allen and the Bills are saying, you know what? I don't care about MVP numbers. I don't care about any of that. I care about winning. I care about the number 1 seed. And I care about finally getting my chip, which they should be the favorite right now to win it all.
Yeah, I think that's why we have Buffalo at -140 to be the last one being undefeated, because they're playing, I don't want to say a pushover to Pats, but don't forget the Eagles are playing Denver, which is coming off a Monday night game. So I set this number thinking for next week's games, not this week's games. I think both teams come out perfect again. So a little bit shocked on so much money coming in on Buffalo right now.
And right now, Mike, if you look at their schedule, there's a very good chance that they will be 6-0 when Kansas City comes to town on November 2nd. They've got New England at home this week. Then they go to Atlanta. Then their bye week in week 7, and then to Carolina. So the schedule is really lining up to be very favorable for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do like that Buffalo schedule look ahead. And for me, it's all about, I love this between both teams. As much as I hate Philly and Nick Sirianni trying to advocate for the tush push. Oh, it was in a Pepsi commercial. Shut up. For me, though, when I'm looking at both of these teams, they're doing just enough. This is the football I like. I don't care. Sorry, Raf, but I don't care about the betting lines, fantasy. When these 2 teams are doing just enough, Jalen Hurts throwing for 150 yards, but they keep winning, that makes football fun for me.
Yeah, 31-25 was the final last week. Tampa Bay was a lot of people were putting them in teasers, so that cashed, but they did cover the 3.5 last week. They have scored 31, 33, and 20. Now they have Denver coming, but then after that, again, the schedule makers, as hard as their schedule is, it's very backloaded, meaning they have Denver 2-2, at the Giants, at Minnesota, and then home to the Giants. And Minnesota, I thought on Sunday, looked poor at best. They did have a late comeback to lose by 3. But Raphael, right now, the Eagles and the Bills, they will both be undefeated heading into their bye week. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the Broncos, I don't think they've looked even close to good enough to stay within a touchdown. I think right now the number's at 7.5. Isn't that what we had? 7.5. I would definitely buy that down, but I think the Eagles roll at home this week over the Broncos. What about you?
I don't know. Bo Lever got me into the lounge last night, so maybe I have to roll with the Broncos again.
Gotta stay loyal, baby.
I gotta stay, but I can understand why they open up at 7.5. But this is something different where we could have probably seen a bigger number on the outcome of last week's games. That's why we're seeing a solid number at 7.5. So keep an eye out for that one. And again, I produced this. We have some big teams that's going to be on their bye week this week. So numbers that might have moved maybe a full point, maybe only move a half a point, because now we see betting action on all this week's football being declined because some big key teams are not playing this week.
Fascinating. It's funny how that goes and how the OG teams like the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys, fans for whatever reason still love to bet on them. The Cowboys haven't done anything in 28 years, but yet somehow this delusional bubble that's over Dallas-Fort Worth continues to exist. I don't get it. Now, the one other storyline that is unfortunately continues to rear its ugly head, and that is injuries. And we hate seeing big time players go down because as fans, it sucks. For the player, it sucks. But sometimes you're like, really? Did the football gods have to do that? Tyreek Hill had a really bad offseason. Now, you could say he brings a lot of it on himself, and I would agree with that. He has a ton of kids with a ton of baby mamas, and everybody knows that. But he's still not a super bad dude, but he opened his mouth in the last year, Mikey, and he got questioned for it. He had the captaincy taken away from him. Tua said he's got to earn the trust back of the team. And so he's been very quiet in the opening part of the year. And now last night happens. And it was such a nasty injury. His left knee, complete dislocation, torn ACL, a bunch of other ligaments. He was smiling as he got taken off, but this is starting to become somewhat of an epidemic, and I fear that we've seen the last of Tyreek Hill on a football field.
I would agree with you. And with all due respect to the injury, and I'm not making light of it, it may be the best thing to happen to Tyreek Hill because whether or not you get back on the field, it is 1000% more likely than not that you will not do it again in a Miami Dolphins uniform. If you come back for a 5-game stretch for the Chiefs later on in your career, that's great. Retire a Kansas City Chief. But I think when people are saying, oh, he's making jokes as he's getting, carted off, and it's probably because he knows his tenure in Miami is over and he's happy for it. One thing that really bothered me that I think went unnoticed in the game last night, Tua Tagovailoa took off for a run and he was slammed down and it was kind of on his head directly. And he gets up and he's smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Do not make light of your serious head issues and health issues. I mean, for me, the Miami Dolphins are a joke. The organization is a joke and the players are taking it as a joke. So I'd like to see Tyreek Hill get out of there.
I don't disagree with that. I think sometimes people have a tendency to, when they're nervous or when they want to do the opposite of what they really feel in their head, they laugh or they smile or they make jokes. And I wonder if maybe that was what was going on with Tua or with Tyreek as he was being taken off on the cart and smiling and doing the one finger and all of that, because otherwise you might cry and
Yeah,
you
I
might it
agree.
may hit you, right, Rafi?
I agree with Tua. When I saw that, he smiled because we all know about his head injuries. And I think he was just smiling and say, "Hey, I'm still okay." So I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, well, his head injuries, his injury." I think he was smiling just to tell everybody he's okay. The Tyreek, they had to give him a shot, something on the field for his actions being wheeled off, the way he was acting, because the way his knee blew up, he had him in so much pain. They
Mm-hmm.
had to give him something on the field for his actions. There's no way he was doing that just because he wanted to be out of Miami.
Yeah, I agree. But it opens the question to what Mikey says, and that is unfortunate, but it's true. And then also Arlovsky on the broadcast, you guys probably heard him. He's like, "Thank God he's okay, Lewis. Thank God he's." I mean, they were almost over the top about thank God he's okay and thank God he's getting out. I mean, I was like, "Okay, guys, I understand he's had issues, but." Anyway, when you look at it slowed down, he didn't take that big of a hit once it slowed down. But I was like, guys, I get it. But it was a little bit, as far as the announcers are concerned, if he would have had his head taken off, okay. But he barely got hit. So we'll leave it at that. But it was certainly, oh, yeah, go ahead, Mikey.
No, I just want to say, that's all fine and dandy when you see it on the field, but I'm going to go back and be a homer for a second. Zach Miller, the tight end for the Chicago Bears back in the day, actually in New Orleans, he got hurt on a very similar play. And while you can see them getting carted off, you don't see the other side of it, which is when he's in the hospital and there was artery issues. He almost had to have his leg amputated. So when you're sitting there on the broadcast saying, thank God he's okay. Yeah, he's okay right now. But there is serious concern. We didn't know there was a torn ACL until this morning, and all the other
Oh, no, I'm
ligaments.
talking about, they were saying that about Tua. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
About
Because
Tua.
I was,
About Tua.
yeah,
Tua.
because
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
when there's knee injuries,
Yeah. No,
and I will
no.
say, NFL players will tell you they don't want their knees blown up. They'll take a concussion for
Correct.
a couple of weeks. When their knees go, that's the worst thing to happen to them. So I just don't downplay the injury because you don't know what's happening in the hospital, even with Tua.
No doubt. No doubt about it. I think for Tyreek, when you look at, because I watched the Tank Dell injury last year, and it looked like the exact same one.
Mhm.
And I don't believe that Tank Dell will ever play football again. These are two guys that rely on dynamic explosiveness. The quick bursts left and right. When you blow your knee out like that and it's shredded, the amount of work that it takes to come back and just walk, let alone run, let alone run on a football field, let alone when you're that size, need that dynamic speed. It just may be at this point. Now, what's Tyreek, 30,
Yeah.
29 or 30,
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
yeah,
that?
he's in his 30s, and we have to real quick, we have to stop saying, "Oh, modern technology and medicine has advanced so much." I hear that a lot with Jason Tatum coming back from his Achilles injury. Yeah, no, teams are smart. Even if they're healthy, they're not running these guys back out there, and the players themselves have their own self-doubt. So stop saying, "Oh, modern medicine has advanced so much."
Huh?
I hate that.
That's fair. They love it. I really believe that a lot of the announcers in today's games, they almost have like this list of cliches that they have in their minds, right? And they go, there's like their go-to. You're like, okay, let's, what do you say, Raphael? Let's pump the brakes just a
Pump the
little bit.
brakes.
Let's pump the brakes. All right. We never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes every single day. Please turn on your notifications. So every time we start around 11:15, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, you can come join us on YouTube or on audio or on socials. Gentlemen, I appreciate it as always. Later today, 2 to 4 Eastern time, it is Off the Ropes with the Coach on Sirius XM channel 156 or here on our YouTube page, the Weekday Wager Guys, DG. Marky Model, and Robbie Hockey. I forgot there for a second. That's going to do it for now. For Raphael, Mikey, and producer man, I am the Coach. We will see you tomorrow right here on the Coach and Company, the podcast.